And we'll start off with the very latest news around the situation with Leoni, as we do have the now official Fabrizio Romano, Giovanni Leoni to Liverpool. Here we go. Deal agreed with Parma for the 18-year-old Italian. No loan ever discussed. Leoni joins Liverpool now and is going to be part of Arne Slot's plan. So he's coming straight in to play this season. And we had wondered, and there had been some reporting to suggest that maybe he was going to be loaned back. Certainly seems here from Fabrizio Romano anyway that it is going to be him joining Liverpool. No loan there. So yeah, good news on that one. Now, while we're speaking about Giovanni Leoni, there is a little bit more on this that is interesting, because two clubs tried to hijack this one. Yep, you heard me right. Two clubs tried to hijack this deal. Manchester United and Newcastle tried to come in late and get the deal done, but Liverpool had already got their man. That's reported from Paul Joyce, who said Liverpool are closing in on a £26 million deal for Parma's teenage centre-back Giovanni Leoni, who will go straight into the first team setup. Newcastle and Manchester United showed late interest. Yeah, look, it's great to see that these clubs come in after we've got deals done, and thankfully nothing to worry about from that regard for us. So the player is coming. But what does that mean for the net spendometer? I hear you say, Craig, what's going on there? Well, this is obviously a rough estimate of the net spendometer, but we reckon as it sits right now, Liverpool's current net spend for this summer transfer window, including the fee for Leoni, will sit somewhere around £131 million. We reckon we've brought in about 190 million and we spent about 321. So still a bit of wiggle room there for the Reds in this summer window, and I expect the spending to continue. If it was a loan, I think the club would be comfortable with a loan to a championship club rather than Parma. It was never seemingly on the table for a loan. There was one report yesterday, I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been Nicolo Shearer, if my memory is right, that said that the plan may have been to loan him back, but that isn't the case, and he's going to become a Liverpool player. So there we go. DiMarzio has said Liverpool and Parma are discussing the final details regarding the payment terms for Giovanni Leoni. The aim is to finalise the deal tonight, allowing the player to travel tomorrow for medical examinations. So how do we feel about this one? 18-year-old centre-back, obviously a talent, or Liverpool and other clubs wouldn't be looking at him. But I don't know. Like I've said, I've always found it very difficult to see a world where an 18-year-old centre-back, no matter how good they are, is really in consideration to play this season. And what I don't want to happen is us to bring in Leoni and then have a situation like we have with, let's say, Rio Ngamoa, where we're being told that he's first teamer for this year, but will the manager really rely on him? Will he really turn to him if needs be? I hope the answer to that is yes. So if it is, happy days. If it isn't, then again, we may be leaving ourselves a little bit short there. Leoni is an 18-year-old beast. Nothing gets past him, said Dave's random videos. Well, certainly, Dave, from the few clips I've seen, mate, and the sheer size of the dude, I get where you're coming from. He's a big physical unit, isn't he? Seems funny that Newcastle showed late interest in Leoni. Yeah, it does. But then again, you know, to be fair, a lot of top clubs would have known about Leoni. I'm glad we made the play and got him in. I want to read you something actually from Arrigo Sacchi, which caught my eye. I was reading earlier on. I was reading this on the, the paper that used to be printed in Liverpool, but now is printed in Manchester. So, writing for La Gazzetta dello Sport, this is what Arrigo Sacchi had to say about Giovanni Leoni and his proposed move to Liverpool. I'm happy that an Italian player is receiving praise from a major club like Liverpool. He went on to say, I wish AC Milan, Inter, Juventus or Napoli were competing for his transfer, not a foreign club. I'm told Italian teams don't have the same financial resources as English clubs. Absolutely true, but I add, why hasn't the football product been exploited here like in England? Why is it so complicated to buy a €40 million defender for an Italian club and yet Liverpool doesn't flinch? We'll see if the deal goes through, but in any case, I'd say the Reds will be making a great move by signing this young man, whom I followed with interest and curiosity in the second half of last season. Confident in his ability, Sacchi went on to say, I'm convinced he'll be linchpin of the Azzurri defence for a long time. Some, regarding a possible transfer to Liverpool, he said, object to this young man. He's only made 17 Serie A appearances so far. Aren't those few? No, I replied, not few, because on those occasions Leoni has demonstrated the qualities needed to go far. If somebody is good, if somebody has their head in the right place, it's immediately obvious. A person can have 200 Serie A games under their belts and still not possess the qualities Leoni has possessed in his first season as an adult. Let's also give him the opportunity to make mistakes. At 18, some mistakes are expected and can be forgiven, and in any case, Leoni won't make many. He's a tough guy who's already learned the fundamental lesson: keep your head down and work hard. So that's glowing praise from what can only be described as a legend of the game. So Leoni bullying a very young Lukaku as an 18-year-old. I think he'll handle what the Premier League will throw his way. Eye for a pass as well. I think he'll cook. Yeah, that image of him kind of manhandling Romelu Lukaku it's impressive, isn't it? Because we know what a big physical unit Lukaku is. Victor said, I don't mind signing young centre backs from the most defensive league. Look, for me, mate, I have to say I don't know much about young Leoni, but I do trust the judgment of the recruitment team. And I went into this window, Victor, saying I want the manager to have the players that the manager wants. And if the manager wants Giovanni Leoni, and he looks like he does, all good with me, dude. Ultimately, these decisions will make or break Arne Slot's career at Liverpool. So I want him to get the squad he wants. Leoni will count as homegrown in 3 years. Yep, I spoke about that last night, mate. Moby Haig posted that on X to say that it has to be before the end of his 21st year of his birth, and he would just about scrape in under that. So yeah, in 3 years' time, if he comes in, he would count as homegrown. How many games will Leoni start this season? Oh, mate, I don't know, Sean. I haven't got a clue. I'm still trying to wrap my head around an 18-year-old coming in to the first team at centre-back for the here and now. Because of all the positions on the pitch, that's the one, bar maybe a goalkeeper, that you don't usually see Premier League teams putting out 18-year-old centre-backs. De Ligt was obviously a huge talent breaking through. Leoni, big talent coming through as well. But yeah, it's difficult just to get my head around thinking an 18-year-old, even as one is physically developed as Leoni, it's a mad one. So I wouldn't have a clue, bro, where to even start. Isn't he 6'5"? Yeah, Steve, he's a big dude. He's a big dude. But I don't know, it's just 18. I remember me when I was 18, and yeah, I couldn't do it. So it's a difficult one to figure out. Hey, Craig, just watched some of Leoni highlights. His power and potential shithousery meter is really high. Oh yeah, seen him standing over Lukaku, mate. Even at 18 years of age, kind of grabbing him by the scruff of the collar. I can get behind that, Carl. I definitely can. Yeah, and the really exciting thing is, if he comes in and he's good, like you're talking potentially, 14, 15 years left of a career. And even allowing for that, centre-backs going 35, 36, 37, it's not out of the question either. So the potential here for Liverpool is huge. Do you know what I'm going to be really interested in? To see the length of contract that he signs. Surely it's got to be 6 years if you're Liverpool. You got to tie him down to a 6-year deal, in my opinion.